Good afternoon and welcome to Park Live Sport. I'm George Didcote. I'm joined with Matthew Bannister and we're going to be talking through the recent performances of the January transfers for both Cheltenham Town and Forest Green. So Matthew, you've been taking a look at Forest Green. How do you think, if you start with the first signing, if we go through one by one, who do you think has been their most influential signing of January so far?
So obviously Forest Green, they definitely made a lot. I think they made a 10, but I've got a group of names here. Hayden Hollis, he hasn't had a clean sheet for Forest Green in his games, but out of the 7 games he has played, he's got a reasonable 10 points out of 21. That does seem not brilliant, but considering that one of their wins was against Coventry City at the time, which were League 2 high flyers, I think that was a big win for them. Another was Gavin Gunning, who on his debut did keep a clean sheet. In the 8 games, he won half of them, getting 1 draw and 3 losses, totaling of 13 points for Forest Green there. And ever since the January transfer window and their signings, they've climbed up to 20th place. 6 points above relegation now, so they're getting there, and they're only 6 off Cheltenham. So if they continue this form, they are in with a shout. And during February, they won 2 of their games, drew another one, so they've had an undefeated February with 1 game being postponed. So it's been a fairly good month for them.
Okay, so you mentioned Hollis come in. Is he a defender? Yeah.
Yes.
So both of those are defenders. So really, yeah. Forest Green was struggling, weren't they? They were scoring a lot, but they were also conceding a lot.
So yeah.
Great to get those 2 defenders in, and like you say, in February they've been playing really well so far. Played some good stuff. Hopefully for them they've turned around.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they've been undefeated in February. If that's what they sort of need to be trying to do. I mean, obviously everyone loses occasionally, but I think it's getting that consistency. They've now gone 3 games with either a win or a draw, even if it was like another 2 draws and a win for March or something, and they got a game in hand, as like I said, they got one postponed due to poor weather. They could be looking at climbing the table a bit higher.
So you think a strong finish, the way it's going at the moment?
At the moment, yeah. I think these signings, these 10 signings have definitely proved to be worthwhile, and the fans should be happy with what they've got at the moment.
All right. So looking more at Cheltenham then. Cheltenham made 6 signings in January. Yeah. Most of them loans. It is notable to say. If we start, you've started with defenders at Forest Green. If we start with defenders at Cheltenham, a bit of a contrast really in how both of them have got on. We've got Emmanuel Honorease, who's come in. He was on loan at Cheltenham the back end of last season as well. Really hit the ground running then. Looked strong. Didn't look like he had that leadership ability, but him and Will Boyle did well at the end of last season. We definitely welcomed him. Since he's come back though, he's had a couple of appearances, but other than that, he's not made the team. He's not been anywhere up to scratch.
Been out of form, sort of thing.
Yeah, well, the whole Cheltenham team has been struggling, really, and I think there's a lot of pressure on Gary Johnson at the moment, and I think it's another defender that we've brought in to bring a bit more quality into that back 4 or back 5. No, and it's just not going. Just not going their way at the moment. Yeah. On the other hand, we've got Joe Rodon on loan from Swansea. Yeah. Interest from Manchester City in him. And he's started playing. He's come into the team and he's been, from what I've seen, he's been brilliant. He's been solid so far. He's obviously only young, so he's going to make mistakes. Yeah. But as a defender to come in and start like that is brilliant. If we move into midfield then, we got any midfielders for Forest Green?
Yes, from what I can refer, I think it was Alex Bray. I think he was someone that they wanted to, as well as scoring a lot of goals, I think they wanted just someone else to sort of, in case an injury, they wanted someone else to come in. He was actually the player that got the winning goal in the Coventry game. Definitely a good squad player, I think, because he's sort of the guy, from what I was looking at, he comes on and off a bit for Forest Green, so he's definitely a good rotational squad player, and I think he has the potential of getting the few more assists for strikers of Reed and Deutsch potentially.
I think Forest Green have got the money, haven't they? So they've got that luxury of having those rotational players, which maybe Cheltenham don't. Cheltenham on a tighter budget, and Johnson, we know at the start of the season, said he wants to keep that smaller squad. saying that he has named, there have been a lot of players appear for Cheltenham so far this season. But yeah, do you think that could be a key part of signing someone like that, someone like Bray, who can, just when the midfield are tiring, he can come on and put them up?
Definitely, I think it's definitely even what Cheltenham need at the moment, because I think Cheltenham's midfield is very limited. They signed Jake Andrews, if I believe.
They have not made such a great start. He's obviously on loan from Bristol City. Bit of controversy over that because it's another loan from Gary's son, Lee Johnson, at Bristol City. But Andrews, he scored a great goal for the reserves the other day, but that's the reserves and that's not going to help the first team. So he's a bit of a fringe player, left out the last couple of match squads, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Compared to Forest Green. Any others?
And then obviously one of their biggest signings was Ruben Reid to partnership at Deutsch. Deutsch has been on an amazing form for his first season in the league football. Is it 14, 15 goals he's got this season so far, I believe?
Not sure.
With Ruben coming in, he scored on his debut against Port Vale, being the winning goal. He then got an assist 2 games afterwards. However, that inconsistency may be perhaps a bit of a worry for fans. I think he went 3-4 games without a goal or assist. Which
I don't think they'll be worried about the way he's playing. Well,
he's been playing well.
He's prolific. He's been brilliant in League Two for a number of years now. So I think they'll be hoping that him and Deutsch can start firing together. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and then again scored against Stevenage to claim 3 points for Forest Green there as well. So overall, I think this January for Forest Green particularly has been very, very good, very positive.
Obviously, we're only a month in.
Definitely.
They're going to have tough games. They're definitely not out of it yet.
Yeah, it's when they get injuries to players, I think is going to be key. I think that's why these 10 player signings have helped. Like I've said, if Deutsch got injured, then at least you've got Ruben Reid to definitely help
to lead the line.
But they also got a loan signing, Campbell, Tavon Campbell. He scored his debut against Cambridge in the 5-2 win, on loan from West Brom at the moment. So a bit of good experience for him. He's not obviously proven, but definitely at least someone that's a recognised striker. So they've always got
someone that can get chip
something
in with a few
definitely.
goals. I think that's good really. Obviously 10 signings is a lot to make in January. And we've had Dale Vince saying at the start of the season getting out of League Two is going to be easy. They found so far that it's not, is it? It's a league that you're stuck in. You've really got to dig deep, and they didn't really have the players to do that. But they've made, especially notably for me, Gavin Gunning, watching him for Grimsby, quite a solid player who's not going to take any messing.
No.
So you've touched on Ruben Reid, their strikers. Cheltenham signed a couple of strikers in January. We've had Elijah Adebayo come in on loan from Fulham. He's one of those players. In his first game, he didn't really excite me.
No.
He looked a bit like a rabbit in headlights at times. He was struggling. He only played the hour. He got subbed off. But since then, he's got a goal. I think he's got a couple of goals now.
Yeah.
But he has just come on leaps and bounds. Even in that time, you can really tell that coming from these players who haven't had much football league experience coming in.
Yeah.
They're really getting to grips with it, which is perfect. Which is what we need. Which is what Cheltenham need, I should say. Also up front, Sammy Lucy coming from Colchester, scored against Colchester on his debut, then got injured. Played centre midfield for the reserves on Tuesday. Interesting. Good for fitness.
Yeah, okay. So
I don't think he's going to be planned on playing in midfield, but he started on Saturday behind. Well, he's sort of behind Moe, so you could say. So maybe he is looking for that, just rolling behind the striker. But he's another one who Cheltenham are struggling at the moment.
Yeah, they are.
They're not in form. Like I said before, a lot of pressure on Gary Johnson.
I don't think it's helped that you've played a lot of the top end table as well.
You say that the last game was against last 2 games have been against tough opponents.
Yeah.
Before that, we had a string of games where we should be picking up more points than we have. Now we're in the middle of some tough fixtures.
Yeah.
Now Cheltenham are in the middle of some tough fixtures. They're going to struggle, especially the way that things have been going. And I have to say, on the whole, at the moment, it doesn't look like the signings that have come in are going to make a massive difference.
No.
Obviously, we're only a month in, we can't say that. But whereas you're saying Forest Green done brilliantly.
Yeah, they're exactly the complete opposite.
Cheltenham at the moment, I think a few of the lads could bring more to the table.
Yeah.
I hope that they do. I've got faith that a few of them will do, but
it's if you get injuries to like your key players, like Pell or especially Murray. So I think
Harry Pell hasn't been playing his best football at the moment.
But I think he's quite an influential character for Cheltenham.
Yeah, he's one of those players where if he's out of the squad, and in fact there's been a lot of pressure lately on Gary Johnson because of his reluctancy to change things. But I think if you take a player like Harry Pell out of your starting 11 or your squad altogether, if you drop him, that's a huge character taker. And he knows what it's like. He was there last season when we were struggling. He knows what it's like to come in and get out of that. Is there anyone at Forest Green you haven't touched on?
Not particularly. I think they've been the main guys who have really just hit the ground running. I think, with Forest Green, I think it's, I think after those that first half of the season, Mark Cooper managed to realise what this was about, hence that window where he managed to sign in so many players, knowing now what he needs to do, and then with getting that message across to his originating players and now new squad players, and from going 23rd to up to 20th within a month, 2 months, is definitely a very good sign. You're just going to hope for them that they just don't have any bad luck of a big injury to someone such as key as Deutsch, or even to their new signings of Gunning or Clements.
I think he's got lucky so far. I think he's lucky. He was in a tough situation, 23rd, struggling. Yeah. He's lucky he's got the budget that he did, I think. So he's been able to get, but fair play, he's got the players in. The one player that I forgot to mention for Cheltenham was the signing of a left-back. Ilias Chatsatheodoridis has come in. Yeah.
What's he been like?
He's been all right. He's quite small. He's small. Yeah. But he's fine. He does exactly what's needed.
But at least you've got a fullback now.
We've got a fullback. We've got one fullback playing at the moment, which is nice. But Cheltenham obviously first 28 league games didn't have a recognised fullback in their starting squad. So to get someone in that can play there is obviously brilliant. Probably one of the better moves that Gary Johnson. Better players that Gary Johnson has signed in the January
window. As an individual performance, how has he been individually?
Yeah, he's a good player. He's quite reliable, I'd say. He puts the effort in, and I know we're only a month in. You can't really say too much. We haven't seen everything that he's got to offer, but he's done. Definitely from following him, he's done very well. Now, which is Luton flying. It couldn't really be anywhere worse for Cheltenham to go. And I'm just hoping that these players, the few players that have come in, are going to be helpful. But obviously, a lot of them loans. So. Yeah,
I think with Cheltenham's form, I think it was against Grimsby and who they played before Grimsby as well. Well, Johnson was adamant saying not to concede early, and in both games conceded within under 5 minutes. So that, I think both games ended up as draws, but I think it's these are teams that perhaps, like you said, should have got more points against, and then Barnet, that was it. Barnet, you also conceded very early against at home. So I think it's definitely trying to find a way of at least trying to hold them for a good 10 minutes to just get a foothold into the game.
Yeah, I think one thing I picked out was, before the game, he said if Cheltenham can get that early goal, then they'll be flying. Well, then it's certainly going to help, and that was what he was going out to do. And twice within 4 minutes, we were 1-0 down.
Yeah.
And it's
completely opposite of what he wanted to do.
It's not what they wanted. I think a lot of things will be frustrating Gary at the moment. There's been a lot of calls for him to leave. In terms of his signings, he's done pretty poorly, I think, the last couple of transfer windows. I think it's fair to say he hasn't got the targets that he's gone out for.
No. Because he was also complaining to your chairman, I think, like saying that they didn't have the budget, but then your chairman came out saying that they did, which I think confused fans, and I think it's perhaps even annoy fans that they haven't actually made permanent signings. Well, the fans just want the best for the club, don't they? Yeah, they do.
They want the team to be competing, and I think that's what they're really struggling with. More than results is the fact that we're not competing for. We're not aspiring to be anything better than a club that just avoids
mid-table.
Yeah, well, I'd love mid-table.
I think for last season it was a bit different because you'd just gone back into the Football League, and I think fans were like, if you stayed up, it was a good season.
But at the same time, he had last season to get players in that were going to be better, and he chose not to. So that's, we gave him another chance this season. That's 2 years, but yeah.
So yeah.
Other than that, Forest Green, where do you think, with these players, where do you think they can go?
I think if they carry on like the way they are, how all these guys are hitting the ground and performing, I think they can definitely survive. I don't know. I don't think they'll get that high at the table. I think it'll definitely be close to the bottom two, but not. I don't think if they play their cards right, they can definitely not have to rely on the final day.
Yeah, if you can string a few wins together in League Two,
if they can do a performance like they do in February, in a March or an April, not both months, even if it was just another one of those months near an April, May, then I think they would have a very, very good chance of staying up. And
all depends on the teams around them as well, of course.
Definitely, but I think that Coventry win that they got. Which everybody was pretty much writing them off for that.
Well, they've done the double over Coventry.
Yeah, now, but I think at the time, obviously, Coventry were high flying. So I think it's trying to get even holding teams like that to a draw would be invaluable to a team such as Forest Green, and this has proved to definitely be a very successful January window for them.
Predicted finish?
I'm gonna go 17th.
So if that was this moment in time, it'd be one place behind Cheltenham in 16th.
Yeah. So. And I mean, with Cheltenham falling at the moment in terms of dropping results and Forest Green climbing. I mean, if it swapped around, I'd very much Forest Green fans would be very happy if they finished above Cheltenham. And I think Cheltenham fans would find it extremely frustrating.
It would be brilliant for Forest Green if they could finish above Cheltenham, but I think it'd be one of those things where money talks.
Yeah.
They got the budget. Some say they got the budget of a League One club. So to climb out of, to climb out the way they did, it wouldn't be too extravagant. But you got to give credit to the manager. Yeah. He's got to be the one to make the signings. Yeah. You can always make the wrong signings. Yeah. So,
but I think as well, definitely, I think they should be okay in terms of. I think now, knowing
because of these new players,
he's now had the first half of the season of how pretty much every team plays. I think they'll definitely be okay. I think.
Few games to go. I think Cheltenham will be safe as well. I think they're lucky, really, that there are teams that are worse than Cheltenham, especially at the moment.
Yeah.
But who aspires to just avoid relegation? But I'm sure most Cheltenham fans now would take not being in that struggle again. Because last season it did get
close.
Did get a bit difficult. Yeah, it did. That's been everything from us here at Park Life Sport. If you'd like to get in touch to comment on any of the things that we mentioned and spoke about, then our Twitter is @parklife_sport. So be sure to give us your say on how you think the Cheltenham and Forest Green signings have done since coming in January. That's all from us. Thank you.